What's going on out there, world? How we doing on another Manic Monday here on the OH.Report? And I hope you're ready for a brand new episode of our video podcast. I'm Brian Skronsky, hanging out with the Hayden Gray, the one and only string bean here on the crew down at the OH.Report World Headquarters. And you know, just kind of easing you into your Monday night. Hopefully everybody's feeling well rested. We got that extra hour of sleep a couple days ago. But I also saw that when we spring forward here in a few months, that's going to be the last of it, Hayden. Yeah. And there will never, ever be daylight savings time again. What's your thoughts on getting rid of something that we've all grown to know?
I don't know. It's weird. You know, we all kind of forget about it every year, but I think it will be noticeable for a few times. So we'll have to see how it plays out, but maybe it's for the better. I don't know. I don't know the science.
It was kind of nice, I guess, having the sunshine up really early this morning. I'm not like a crazy early riser, but when I get up at 7, I kind of like seeing the sun. What I don't like, though, is that when we leave here, it's going to be very dark. So I think I'm okay with the change.
Yeah.
All right, guys, coming up on today's show, we are going to hear from Travis Berardi. He is on the road right now. He's going to be catching up with the state-bound Monroeville Lady Eagles volleyball team. What a treat those girls are to watch.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Putting themselves right back in that same spot as last year. Couldn't have seen it coming, maybe this dominant, but there they are.
We're also going to talk to local fighter Zane Sparkplug Finley. He's going to talk to us about his match that's coming up on Saturday night. Will be the second of his career, and everybody in the area knows Zane. Definitely looking forward to that one. We're also going to take a trip down memory lane with both G-Man and Storm. Sad to say, this is going to be their last podcast. Maybe it'll be the first of the last, and we'll try to get him back for some guest spots, is what I was trying to say, foreshadowing for the future. But I know that Storm's got a lot in mind for us. He's going to talk about some of his favorite memories, so we'll all get to take that journey with him. I've got a debate. Donovan Mitchell, is he in the category right now for MVP favorite? We're also going to talk about some local high school stuff and a lot more. So without further ado, let's dive into the show. We know why a lot of you are here. That's right. Our Friday Night Phenom nominees are going to be coming at you right now for Week 12. Kick it! Here come your Friday Night Phenoms, presented by Adina Corporation, the best individual performances from Week 12. Our first nominee comes from Elyria, where the Panthers prowl on unsuspecting foes and foals, as was the case on Friday night, where King of the Hill Levi Ellis showed us why he is pretty much unstoppable. If 12 carries for $188 and a quartet of touchdowns isn't enough, well, Ellis passed the 5,000 career yard mark on Friday as well, and the cherry on top of all those stats and accomplishments is that he and the Panthers are continuing their playoff run because of a big playmaker like Levi Ellis. Roar! As the Panthers get by Clear Fork, they are moving on to round number 3 of the postseason. Big stuff right here from Levi. Phenom number 2 comes from Danville, where Max was bringing the pain in multiple ways. The senior first bullied his way to nearly 150 yards on the ground, but he also went to the air quite literally, tossing not one but 2 jump pass touchdowns as the Blue Devils are going to move on to the regional semifinal with a wild win over Hillsdale, 42-41, in what would prove to be the final home game of his career, keeping Danville's postseason hopes alive, and they did it in dramatic fashion. Coming in at number 3 is Mansfield Senior's Ricky Mills, where the senior Tiger brought the juice with his tackling game, taking down 8 Bulldogs to the turf and placed the Defiance QB on his back 3.5 times. That's right. Almost half of Ricky's tackles would be recorded as sacks as he played with passion for the final time at Arlen Fields and left his mark with a second straight shutout victory for the TY Tigers to open up postseason play. Our fourth nominee stuffed the stat sheet Friday night as Colonel Crawford quarterback Cameron Lohr helped lead the charge in the Eagles' 21-14 victory over number 1 Cary. Lohr threw for $179 and a touchdown on 11 completions, adding 60 yards and a touchdown on the ground as well, as the Eagles snapped Cary's 26-game win streak and moved on to the regional semifinals with an impressive road win over their arch rivals in the Devils. Huge performance for all of our nominees. Now it is up to you. Let us know as a fan. Decide who had the most impressive performance of the week in the comment section. And just a little friendly reminder, Hayden, that how many do votes count for right now when we're live and free on the podcast?
Double trouble.
That's right. If you want the double trouble, make sure that you chime in right now in the comment section and let us know that it's the phenom that you are voting for. Drop either the player's name or the digit that they're associated with, and we will make sure that your vote counts times 2. So those are your Friday Night Phenoms presented by Adina-Core. Now it's time to take a look at the top plays of the week. Here they come. Here come the top plays of the week from the second round of the high school football postseason. After 4 years of beating the snot out of running backs and wideouts, senior Caden Reynolds decided that it was time to unleash some offense of his own. Check him out here, lined up next to Victor Skoog, who is half of a riddle, and off he goes and would even get his shoulder down, but if everyone could run the ball, everybody would. Out pops the rock, and hold on, if we've got another Colt coming in. A whole lot going on there, another non-skilled player touching the rock, but check it out one more time. This was called a forward lateral. I mean, call it what you want. The whole play, pretty awesome from start to finish. Definitely worth a top play nominee. Now we head to Danville, where Blue Devils wide receiver Caden Colopy got things started for the hosts on the third play of the game, taking this screen pass, and he's going to find the corner, then dish out a big stiff arm before hitting turbo to take it 47 yards to the hizzy. It would start a string of 5 straight possessions with a TD for Danville as they held off Hillsdale 42-41, led by Caden's ferocious start with this crazy house call for 6, putting on the speed after the big time throwdown. We move on now to nominee number 3, and it's going to come from Crestview's 31-22 victory at home over Patrick Henry, where Hayden Kuhn would use some unique hand-eye coordination to bring this one down, but that's not all. Kuhn going to take his newfound football toy back to the house for some points too. 97-yard tip, drip, pick 6 for the Cougars QB, who's not just a gunslinger, but you're going to see here also a ball snatcher, and he's becoming a pretty effective defensive player here in the postseason. Hayden has been getting it done on both sides of the football. Huge house call right here to help push the Cougars into the next round of the playoffs. The Colonel Crawford Eagles got their revenge over the reigning state champs Friday night, and it all started with this 45-yard touchdown run by senior quarterback Cameron Lohr. Stellar blocking by the boys up front allowed Lohr to hit the open lane, and he never looked back as the Eagles soared to a 21-14 victory over the Cary Blue Devils on their way into the regional semifinals. But check this out, setting the bar high right from the jump. That's why the Eagles are moving on. Those are the top plays from the second week of the high school football postseason. Head into the comments section below to make your vote heard right now.
They got upset. I had to put all the Eagles in check.
All right, fans, make sure that you get your vote in right here and now. While we are live, we count them times 2. So your favorite player in the Phenom and then the top play of the week. Get your votes in right now. Make them count times 2. Well, Hayden, it's time, I think, that we talk to a literal spark plug from the world of mixed martial arts. That's right. We've got former Lucas football player and stud wrestler, and now kind of got the keys to the city out there in the village of Lucas as well. Zane Sparkplug Finley is joining us right now on the hotline. So, hey, what's up, Sparkplug? Working for the city today. What you up to, man? What kind of fires you putting out?
I don't know, fires today. I mean, we're just we're directing traffic today, digging some holes, stuff like that.
Nice. So you're staying fit, you're staying in shape on the job. I love it. You don't even have to get in the gym that much, and you're still keeping in peak shape. But hey, how about those Lucas Cubs, buddy, the number 10 seed? They put them on the road out to the West Virginia border, and they win. They put them on the border out in Pennsylvania, and they win. Now they've earned the right to play basically in their backyard at Clear Fork for a trip to the regional final. It's got to be awesome as a former player to be keeping an eye on this.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Like I said, we had a stacked schedule this year, and we didn't have the greatest regular season record. We were 4-6, but we played a lot of good football teams, and I knew that they were ready. I mean, we're going into Division 7 football now, and I mean, we've played all the best. We've seen everything, and I knew we would do good in the playoffs. And I mean, it's playoff football. We're getting good now.
As a guy that was a part of that for the last 4 seasons, playing the schedule that Scott Spittler has put you guys through, the grinder during the regular campaign, because of course you're not in a conference. You got to go anywhere, play anybody on the face of the earth, and you've taken on a lot of competition. Did it definitely feel like games were, I don't want to use the word easier, but just more simple when you would get into tournament play, Zane?
I mean, I would just say that we were in those games during the regular season that were close, down to the wire, and you have to make a play, or you have to have a good drive, or you have to hold on to the ball to win the football game. And we were in those games before playoffs even hit. So we knew what was going to happen. We played the best of the best. I mean, we've already seen that. You know what I mean? So it was like one of those things where we were already prepared for the postseason, and we take pride in Lucas. We're going to win football games in the playoffs, and we're going to keep this streak going. And it don't matter who is next up. Like I said, I mean, I know we have a couple down injured, like Andrew Finello, and a couple good key seniors on the team, but like I said, we're going to step up and play football.
Yeah, you were able to do that for the last few years, but now that you're out in the real world, Zane, I know that you're still living down there in Lucas, and you're helping out in the community, you're working for the city, but what's it like being a grown-up now?
It's a little weird. I mean, I'm still getting used to it. I would say like the first couple of games and stuff, it was weird for me, like watching them, I'm yelling at the OH.Report screen, all that stuff, because they're still my brothers. Like that senior class, they were the senior class. They would have been the 2019 senior class, or the freshman class. So they would have been like the year we went to state, and we made all those runs going through those 4 years. So that's those seniors, and they mean a lot to me. And they were my brothers, played with me last year, So it's like one of those things where I'm still like I feel like a big brother to them, but now I kind of have to be like that, that old guy that's just like cheering them on.
Well, you're a new guy in the game of MMA, even though you've been competing since you were 5 years old, but now you're going to do it for real inside the cage. Your second match is coming up this week, so give me a little bit of insight about what it looks like. Okay, so tell me about tonight, and then the rest of the week up to Saturday. How is Zane the Sparkplug going to be getting ready, making sure that those hands are prepared on Saturday night?
Well, I mean, really, the fight camp is basically over. I mean, we had like an 8-week fight camp, and stay consistent, train every day. Mondays I go to Mickey's, and then I go to Cody's, and then Tuesdays I go to Cody's, and then Wednesdays I go to Cody's, and Thursdays, depending on how I'm feeling, it's a strength and conditioning at Cody's. So sometimes I go and sometimes I don't. That's usually like my off day. Then Fridays I go to Cody's for boxing, and then I do some sparring afterwards, and then Saturdays we do a little bit of everything. We do some MMA work and grappling work. And then Sundays I take off, and it's just I've been preparing real good. I train with the best, Mickey Skidova, Cody Stevens. I have the best training partners in the world. I went over to spar multiple places this time around, and I'm feeling good. I mean, now I'm coming to my hometown, so that's pretty awesome too. And I'm ready to put on a show. I've got a pretty tough opponent. And
tell me about that.
Just keep doing what I'm doing.
So, but I know that you had a couple opponents like drop out on you, right, before you were finally able to put this one on the docket. So tell me about just like your mindset and how much that becomes maybe not a problem for you, but you're training for one guy, and then you got a new guy in front of you, and then that guy's gone, and now you got to train for somebody new. How does that change your wavelength in terms of the training process, if at all?
So, obviously, Johnny Lee was my first opponent, and he was talking a little bit of smack. He said he was going to come dominate me in front of all my friends and family in Mansfield. So that, put a little chip on my shoulder. I'm coming to my hometown. Nobody's going to beat me in my hometown. So, and then I would say, 2 weeks ago, Johnny Lee backs out on me. He supposedly has to work now or something like that. And then I got this opponent, Dakota Gaynor, and I was pumped. I was like, sweet, we got to fight. It was right after, and little than 3-4 days, this guy backs out. So we're like, shoot, that would have been this Friday. So then luckily, Cody calls me and he's like, hey, we got a new guy. We signed the contract Saturday morning. I'm fighting, his name's Nathan Das. He's from Immortal MMA up in Columbus. He's from a very prestigious fight gym, and he's had a pretty good high school wrestling career. The only stuff I can really find on him was he was pretty good. 2012, he would have wrestled in high school. I think he was ranked 9th in the state in wrestling, but that's all I about know on him. But I know that it's going to be a way tougher opponent that I've had in the past. Just for the simple fact, he trains at a good gym. Matt Brown's a UFC legend, that from Ohio. And I'm super pumped. He's going to show up, and I'm excited that I'm fighting a wrestler because I want people to see that I'm just not a wrestler. I've trained all this. I'm an all-around mixed martial artist. So I'm super pumped to put on a show for my hometown and get challenged, and I'm just super pumped for the show. I got a couple other teammates fighting on the card that are going to They can go out there. We put the work in it. We'll bring them in the HQ and then just get over to the stable. I mean, we train like professionals. We might be amateurs right now, but there's not a day that we're taking off.
Well, and Zane, I really only have one question for you, but after your first professional fight here that went fairly quick, which is really awesome and probably pretty exciting, do you prefer to get in and get your work done that quick like that, or does that kind of impact how you've prepared for this one? And do you want it to almost go a little bit longer so you can put more of your skill on display, or do you like a quick finish like that?
I mean, obviously everybody wants a quick finish, but at the end of the day, I made a mistake that fight. I rushed that guy, and he actually did clip me one time. And my goal in fighting is to never get hit in the face because I'm a smart kid, and I want to stay a smart kid, you know? So, obviously, you're going to take your bumps and bruises, but at the end of the day, I rushed that guy, and I could have went out and jabbed him, and I could have moved around a lot better and fought a lot better. Luckily, my wrestling came instincts, you know? I had a lot of people there. I had a lot of supporters. I was all pumped up. I'm going to come out a lot more calm and collected this time and put on a show. I mean, if we get a quick finish, but at the end of the day, I'm just getting my hair raised. It don't matter how it happens. I just know that I put my stability together and I stay calm and I do my game plan that my coaches have taught me, and we're good to go.
Yeah, it all goes down this Saturday night. BCM Promotions Fight Night 11. Zane the Sparkplug Finley fighting in his own backyard. Going to put on a show. Hey, last time he was out there, like Hayden talked about, you threw around your opponent like he was a stuffed animal. You took care of him in just a couple of minutes. You want to throw out any predictions for us about this one, Zane? How's it all going to play out in your fight on Saturday?
I don't want to put any predictions just because, you know, I'm respectful, but Sparkplug's going to get his hand raised, you know? Sparkplug's going to get his hand raised. He puts the work in.
That's right.
I don't know many people that are outworking me. I outwork everyone. That's the goal in life. I mean, I've done it since I was 5 years old. I don't care if he's a national champion wrestler. At the end of the day, he might be a better wrestler than me, but is he going to be a better mixed martial artist than me? Because, I mean, okay, he's a better wrestler, but can he out-kickbox me? Can he out-box me? Can he out-grapple me? I mean, it all goes into one. Yes, wrestling's a good advantage, but at the same time, I mean, I could have went and wrestled in college. I could have wrestled, you know? But I just chose to follow my dreams, and, I mean, I'm making dreams reality right now. This is my goal for the rest of my life. I have big dreams here. So just keep working and staying steady, and that's what I got to do.
Zane Finley, living dreams with his eyes wide open. Looking forward to you going 2-0. Thank you so much for the time. Best of luck, and give some love to Cody for me.
Good luck, man.
I love you guys. Thank you guys for everything and all the support at OH.Report. And I'm just blessed to be a part of a great community. And thank you, Brian, and OH.Report. It's always been there for me and supported me. And I'll put on a show for you guys this Saturday.
Yeah, please do that.
Ohio.
Keep an eye on your Lucas Cubs while you're getting your warm-up and stuff. We'll have them on the OH.Report on Saturday before your fight.
My fight shorts has the Lucas Cubs logo on it. I haven't announced that yet, but they'll be in my heart, trust me.
Ooh, breaking news, baby. All right, appreciate it, Zane.
Sure. Hey, well, thank you guys. Take care.
You too, man. Man, what a class act that guy is, and what I love most about him is that he's not BSing you. When he says, I don't know that anybody's outworking me at the amateur ranks, I've seen this kid with a dedication and just principle set in when he was like 7 years old, 8 years old, where he would just come to the gym and he would be committed the entire time he was there. You just don't see that very often. So I do feel like if Zane can get to a comfortable weight for himself, because he's only in probably about 5'7", 5'8" on a good day,
yeah,
he could mean some double trouble for a lot of opponents out there.
No, and you're right. I mean, that's probably that is the difference maker for guys that are going to do what he wants to do to make it a reality. You know, you've got to put in that time. There's a lot of guys that love to talk and want to say that's what they want, but he's definitely walking proof that, you know, it's going to pay off.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those guys. It sounds like a good idea.
Right.
So you want to be a fighter until you got to put in that hard work and you don't get paid for it. That's the crazy thing about the amateur game. So big ups to Zane and Cody Stevens as well, one of my favorite people here in the area. All right, guys, we talked to a lot of athletes that are also making their dreams come true right now in the high school game, that are moving on either to state competition, advancing in regionals, whatever the case may be. We like talking to them, and we like showing them all kind of pieced together for you on the latest edition of Talk of the Town.
How did it feel playing your last game?
Oh, great, man. Everybody knew they was playing for the seniors. Everybody played for me. You know, the seniors had a good game. We led this team. Got our second win in the playoffs. On to the next.
What an atmosphere here tonight. It's no surprise North Robinson travels well, supports you guys here on the road. So anyone you want to give a shout out to that was here at the game or maybe watching tonight?
I want to thank you to our fans. I want to thank my quarterback, Cam Moore, all of our running backs, my O-line, just everybody on our team. We're such a brotherhood. We love each other, and I've never have been so tight with people that I'm not even related to. I love it.
I would say the fans for always cheering us on and just being there for us. It really helps.
First of all, how does it feel to beat your cousin Stacia's record?
It was my goal for the beginning of the year.
Is there going to be some animosity at family functions?
No, I told her I beat your record. She goes, at least it's running in the family.
Well, that's good.
I mean, football's a game of, like, the momentum, and we came out real hot, which is not very common for us, if I'm being honest. We normally have a slow start and come out strong in the second half. Hats off to Hillsdale, though. They were down by a lot at one point and managed to fight back and never quit on us. So,
How does it feel playing your last game here at Arlen Field?
You know, the emotions hasn't kicked in yet. I'm sure I'll have a rough night tonight maybe.
Yeah.
But it couldn't went any better. I had a career day today, and I'm just glad I did it with my guys here at Arlen Field.
Well, we worked really hard tonight, and we had a lot of communication errors in the beginning, but I felt like that as we got on and we picked up our energy, we really connected, and it was a good win. It was a good win.
It means everything. I mean, this has been our goal since the beginning of the season, since we lost last year, really. And I know it means a lot for everyone, especially the seniors, to just leave our legacy of going back to state after such a long period of time where we weren't able to.
You guys weren't able to knock these guys off last season in postseason play, man. Talk to me about the emotions you're feeling right now, you know, getting a big win.
It's a big victory for us. I mean, we've been rivals for these guys for my entire high school career. Yeah. And we finally evened the score on them. So I think it's since 2017 we've played them 10 times and we've won 5 and lost 5. So this win's a big victory for us.
And, you know, we've listened to people as we've been here and saying, oh, they should run the ball all the time. But, you know, and you understand as a running back, you really can't do that, can you?
No. You know, the coaching staff is amazing. Coach Fox is, you know, a great guy. He's Einstein when it comes to football. So, and plenty of the other guys on the coaching staff, you know, Coach Wagner, he's our running back coach. You know, he's a great guy. And plenty of others, you know, help us out a lot during the week.
So what do you got to tell the fans as we hit the road, man? You got to tell them to pack their bags because you know how Tiger fans, they love to travel. Just bring the energy. Any word out there to the Tiger football fans that are thinking about coming to the next game?
Just get behind us, man. Get behind us, man. Go out somewhere, man, and get some of that Tiger juice. Bring it with you. Jump in your cars. Gas it up. Get on this train, man. I told y'all 6 or 7 or 8 weeks ago, stay behind us. We went down. We believed in each other. We love our city. Our kids go out and play every single Friday night for our city, for our community, for Mansfield Senior High, and we're going to continue to do that. Stay with us. Follow us. Tiger football, let's go, baby.
Tiger football, let's go. Love you.
You hear that, Tiger fans? I love my city. Jump in the car with us. Ride with us. All we need is 100 yards of football. We make it happen. Shoki Bradley. Quotes to live by. That guy, if I just walked around with a typewriter all day and just kept up with what he was saying, I should have like such a great inspirational book at this point.
He could honestly, he could fill maybe a smaller book because sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short, but regardless, he gets his message across no matter how many words he uses.
Yeah, that's my guy. Looking forward to seeing them compete on Friday night. Tigers still in it. And there's another team that's still in it, soaring all the way to state right now. We're going to throw it out to Monroeville. Travis Berardi's with us, and he's got the state-bound Lady Eagles. Let's see. What do you got going on out there, Trav?
What's up, boys? I'm down here literally courtside right next to the team as they're getting their practice in, a 3-hour practice. They don't stop here. They're getting ready for Newark Catholic in the Division IV state final for their second straight trip here to Dayton, and they're all locked in right now. I mean, almost got hit in the back of the head a couple times, Ski, but these girls, they're ready. I think even though they had 2 All-Ohioans graduate last year, I believe this is one of the most complete teams that they've had in quite some time, guys.
Yeah, they got it rocking and rolling right now, Travis. Winners of 7 straight. I know that they were the undefeated Firelands Conference champions, but no disrespect to the conference. It ain't the same level of play that they get when they've been in tournament. You've seen quite a bit of their run now at this point. What about this squad makes them special, man? And as you welcome in Kendra, I want to get your opinion first, Trav, on why this team's been able to get back to the state Final Four.
It's because of the woman that's going to be joining me right here, head coach Kendra Snook. And, let me fix this camera. It's a little too tall for both of us right now. But, hi, guys. Coach, what makes this team so successful year in and year out? I know it's you're getting these extra games in every year with the tournament. I know that's helpful for your freshmen coming in the next year, but you graduated 2 All-Ohioans, and it seems like you got better. I asked you this after the regional match, but just what makes you guys so successful year in and year out?
I think the kids from, the time that they're little, they want to be a part of the program, and so they start working hard. We have a ton of 5th and 6th graders in our 5th and 6th grade league. I think we actually had to make 3 teams this year because of how many, and to say that for such a small school, I think that says a lot. And they all want to play then club early and all those different types of things where they're working on those fundamentals early. And, they see the excitement around Monroeville volleyball. So, they know the expectation is, if you want to be a part of the program, you got to work hard. And so they put, like the high schoolers, they put in the extra time in the weight room. We're in the weight room all summer and, all spring, and they're multi-sport athletes. So it's not like they just focus on volleyball, which I really like. And we encourage them to do that. Almost all of them play at least one other sport. So, and then when it comes to volleyball time, they give up a lot. They sacrifice a lot for the sport. They sacrifice time with their families and their friends. But this becomes their family and their friends. And, each year, it's just a little bit different, a little bit more special, or a little bit just different memories, different special memories. I think this probably is a year that I thought last year we grew a lot, but this year I've even had like a couple coaches reach out the past couple days about they can't believe how much better that we are from when they saw us at the beginning of the season, which, says a lot about how hard these kids are working to continue to get better every day.
Yeah, I have a conversation with her, it seems like every week. So I'm going to let you guys ask her some questions for the first time this season. So Brian and Hayden are on the other end, Coach.
Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up, Kendra? Glad that we could get you on the channel here. And, for everybody that I talk to out there in Eagle Country, your name is worth its weight in gold, just like your guys' logo. Everyone very complimentary of what you've been able to bring to the table. And I got to know, how are you able to get so many kids involved in the program in a town like that? Everybody's excited about volleyball. You've got to be the girl that's kind of making it all happen out there. How do you make it fun to be a part of this organization?
You're watching practice now, like we're getting better, but we're real light about things most of the times. The kids, they have fun. They have fun in practice. We've talked a lot, especially these last couple years when things got kind of put more into perspective last year, that, volleyball's a game. Volleyball's supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be smiling out there. They're supposed to be, hanging out with their friends. And, the last thing I tell the kids, every time before we go out and play is, play hard, but have fun. And, I want them to have that excitement and to play loose and all those types of things. And I think then that kind of is, the fans see it, the young kids see it, that, we're not going through boot camp here, that, there's lots of smiles and lots of energies and excitement around Monroeville volleyball.
Early on in the year, you talked about taking your lumps. You come out the gates, you're 1-2. You lost to some good programs, Vermilion and Seneca East. What do you think that did for your girls, though, that just went to a state Final Four? Did it kind of put them in check and have to reassess, hey, just because we got the M on our chest doesn't mean we're going to come out here and just swat everybody?
That's a great question. After that second loss of the season, we had quite a bit of a heart-to-heart. I wasn't fretting too much because I knew how good Seneca East was. I knew how good Vermilion was. And, I told the kids, we actually had to sit down before our next match because we played Seneca East on a Monday and then played again on Tuesday. Because there was just a lot of emotions. I think the kids were just drained that, Monroeville isn't an under 500 team, and all of a sudden we're under 500. And we talked about, we have a lot of room to grow and that we're going to continue to get better. And I told the kids that, everyone had asked me at the beginning of the year how we were going to be this year. And I told all of them that, we're going to have some growing pains. We're young, we're inexperienced. But by the end of the year, I think we could be really, really good. And I told them they had to trust me. They had to trust the process. We mixed things up after that. As long as if you're losing and you're getting something out of it, that's a good loss. And, we changed the lineup a little bit. We mixed some things up. I think some of the kids started working a little bit harder, and, all of a sudden, we started making that growth of getting a little bit better every time we were out on the court. And I think that was huge. We scheduled those games for a reason to get better, and it really helped us out this year with how young we were to start the year. Going from junior high ball to high school ball with these 3 freshmen starting is a big jump. And they did a nice job them responding to that. And it also was a little bit different this year because we have the different classes of a senior to a freshman, and every now and then we have 1 freshman, but we don't usually have 3 that are in such big roles. So just gelling as a group, getting so close, and they have come a long way, not only on the court, but they're a lot closer than they were back then too, which is nice to see.
Hey there, Coach Snook. One thing that has definitely stood out that kind of ties into what you just said, the play of those lower classmen this year, I think that's been remarkable, and it's really stood out. And you can just tell that there's a really good gel amongst the girls this year that, girls like Lily and both Maddies play so well with these lower classmen, and you just wouldn't even be able to really tell that these are girls that are having their first experience at the varsity level. So how important do you think this overall trip just back down to state, back down to Wright State University is going to be for those lower classmen and what they'll be able to learn from this trip?
I think it's really important that they experience this with, kids that have already been there and have already, kind of know the routine of what's going to happen. Every year it's exciting. Every year, there's a different atmosphere, but they still at least are familiar with what's going to happen. We kind of gave Maddie Daniel the job. We give her so many other jobs. She's, our best hitter. She's one of our best defenders. We give her so many jobs, but this summer we told her job was to take those 3 kids under her wing and, let them know how good they were. It was more of a confidence thing with those 3. And, you can see them, they looked so much up to her and to Lily and to Maddie and to Brooke, but, having another hitter there that they just idolize, you'll see Maddie Daniel hug them after they get a good play and then hug them when they get a bad play. And, having that leadership, has really, really helped those 3 kids develop, because I think they realize now that they're good. And that has been a lot to do with Maddie Daniel. So we told her that in the summer, that was her main job, besides doing everything else, was to make sure that they knew how good they were and to really be included. And not only has she done that all year, but, even now, like they're ready to go to Dayton. They're excited. I told them they would leave today if I let them, but I told them they got 2 more days to get better in the gym. And so we're still working hard this week, because I even told other people that usually at this time of the year you're kind of like peaked out and you're playing your best ball, but there's not much room for growth, where I still think we can get better this week. So we got better between districts and regionals, and I'm hoping we can get a little bit better this week too.
That's the mark of a true marquee championship program, that you just keep taking that next step, Kendra. And I got to give a big shout out to Eagle Nation. They packed the gym out there in Strongsville. And then also people even tuned in hundreds at a time to listen to Travis call a volleyball match. So
I don't know why. I don't know why.
To be excited about out there in Monroeville. So we appreciate the time. Thank you for joining us. And hey, we're going to be coming down to state. I can't wait to see you in person. Very much looking forward to that.
Sounds great. Thanks for having us.
And I got one more question for you. Scouting report, Newark Catholic. It looks like they're kind of like a carbon copy with you. A lot of multiple players that can get the kills, a lot of digs, a lot of aces as well on the team. It seems like you guys are destined to play a team like you guys in the semifinal.
I think that's kind of almost been like, I thought Wellsville and Seneca East as well, very much similar. You have the big hitters, you have the great defense, solid serving. So, they're bigger than us. So we're really going to have to make sure we're focusing on covering, because I think they're going to get their hands on a lot of balls blocking wise. And then, other than that, it's going to be pretty much what we've talked about all year. We've watched some film on them, but to let the kids know that, it's really what we do on our side. We really have to focus back at that service line, and we really have to focus on our serve receive, because that's what we have outdone everyone so far in this tournament. On our tournament run, especially these teams that, are favorited. And Newark Catholic, again, is favorited over us. We're the underdogs again, and that's okay. But we're going to have to make sure that back at that service line and our serve receive is spot on to be able to compete.
And I know you made Brian a believer after watching just what you were able to do as underdogs against Wellsville in that 3-1 victory. But yeah, that's enough. That's all I have to say. But I know we're all excited to be down there on Thursday.
So are we.
Afternoon.
We're excited to be invited.
All right, Brian.
All right, keep it up, Coach. Get better again this week. We'll see you down in Dayton. Thank you to Travis. Man, what an unbelievable journey this has been. Because I got to admit, when I looked at the tournament bracket, me and Travis, we were talking about it. And obviously, he knows a lot more about Monroeville volleyball than I did. But kind of looking at the bracket, I was like, they're going to have to match up with Seneca East. They already got them once. They were able to take care of that. Then they move on. Well, they got to play a state-ranked team, Canton Central Catholic. No, but they ran them out the gym. And then against Wellsville, well, look at some of the wins that this team has. 3-1, and it wasn't even close there towards the end of the match, Hayden. From what you've seen from this team, Kendra talked a bit about it, but what has kind of set them apart from where they were at the beginning of the season to where they are now? I mean, they're cutting people's heads off, and they're running with it.
Yeah, I mean, other than Saturday, I believe I've been at every single one of their matches we've covered, and I think it's safe to say that just like she talked about the jump that they still even progressed and got better in aspects of the game during the tournament, I think that's just been the case in between every match. They've utilized every tool that they have in terms of watching film and changing what they need to, and she does such a good job with keeping their spirits and the mental aspect of the game fresh with them too, that I just really think it's not even so much peaking at the right time. I just think they've been able to maintain a consistent growth. And as you mentioned, I really think some of the matches they've seen in the regular season have been harder. I think their postseason has been their best volleyball, and it just looks kind of like a non-conference regular season to them, not to underplay what they're doing. But they'll have their hands full this week. But I think if there's a team ready for that, it's them.
Yeah, we'll definitely have their semifinal match on Thursday. Won't be live and free due to OHSA rules. They actually play at noon, but at 7 p.m., we're going to air it live on our channel. So if you can, just kind of keep your ears closed. Don't know the results. Get your popcorn ready, nice cold beverage, and we'll all watch it together. Yeah. Me and Travis, and probably Hayden too, will all be in the comment section throughout the match. So we'll make it a fun time. Make sure that you tune in on our main YouTube and our Facebook, 7 p.m. on Thursday. Lady Eagles going to state. All right, before I tune it over to you for your portion of the show here, let's go ahead and welcome in G-Man and Storm. I hear they've been waiting around. They're out in the green room, and I just got to see those big cuddly balls of fun. Probably got some nacho fries standing by. There's Bunchy himself.
All right, there's one.
Not sure what dance that is, but I'm sure it's something cool that the TikTokers are up to these days. And G-Man, yeah, keeping the vibe going. He's got that jazz right now with the Kirk Cousins and what the boys are doing. I seen Swaggy Kurt on the plane, and how about the Lions too, cutting up the competition yesterday, taking down Aaron Rodgers. Let's go. So, yeah, boys. So we're going to turn it over to Hayden, but feel free to chime in at any point. Go ahead, buddy.
All right. Well, speaking of tournament play, it got my mind thinking of what could I talk about today. And we talk about, some professional things, as I'm sure we will at some point today. But what really was stuck on my mind this morning was just the last few weeks have been a little bit crazy. And I've just been trying to figure out who is the most surprising person that I feel should still be in the postseason across all of our sports, soccer, volleyball, or football. Trying to wrap my head around what team I think should really still be in it that isn't, and that we're feeling their vacancy. I won't get into a lengthy explanation. I think personally for me, I'll just start my answer. It's got to be Ontario, the Lady Warriors. A little premature after the first match of the season. I said this team's going to win a state title, which didn't come true.
Not quite.
I think in the next 4 years it'll be definitely possible, but that's my personal vacancy that I think, not to take anything away from Lexington. They did a phenomenal run, and it wasn't a coincidence that they took down Madison even though it's a more underwhelming year for them. And they also took down Ontario, but I just really feel like Ontario had the pieces this year. Obviously, 2 of those biggest pieces were just freshmen, so they're going to be all right. But for girls like Addie Turnbull, I kind of feel bad just because I think that this really could have been their year. But I'm kind of curious to hear that. Like I said, this could go if there's a volleyball team you're thinking of, which there might not be, but also it could apply to football. You got teams like Lexington boys took an early exit this year that we didn't expect. Cary, I think you could argue you thought they could still be playing right now, and Clear Fork. So I'll let you go first, Brian. And then if there's any team that even I didn't mention that you think should still be playing right now, who do you think it would be?
I will agree that I thought the Ontario girls were the best team in the district, but they're still a year away by my calculation. It's going to be tough to overcome the loss of Addie Turnbaugh, but they get everybody else back in that starting lineup. So I think that Ontario, they're about to be in some of the glory years where they're going to start winning probably 2, 3, 4 district championships in a row, and we'll see if they can start making trips back down to Columbus like they were not that long ago before the Madison Lady Rams started taking over. In volleyball, I felt like Lexington, even though they're very much like Monroeville, I thought that their freshmen were good enough. They also have 3 freshmen in their starting lineup with the older girls to kind of mesh and make a run. Maybe not into the round of the Final Four, but I thought that they were good enough to move on a little bit deeper, maybe to a regional championship. Unfortunately for the Ontario girls, though, they would have had to have played Copley. And I saw them. So did Storm. Dude, Storm, is that not the best girls soccer team that you've seen maybe ever?
Yeah, I mean, they were really on a different level. And I guess this kind of segues into my most disappointing early exit. And I would have to say Cary, honestly. These were the world beaters. Like, you beat them and it's like impossible to do it. So I would have to say Cary is probably my most surprising early exit coming to Colonel Crawford. But mainly because I wanted the Crestview versus Cary matchup. If there was going to be a team to do it, I wanted it to be Crestview. But unfortunately, things didn't shake out that way. And I'm kind of wiping the sweat off my brow a little bit that Crestview didn't have to play them, because I'm not really sure what the outcome would have been. But my answer would be Cary.
G-Man, what's your thoughts?
G-Boy.
G-Boy.
Oh, no, G-Boy's muted.
Yeah, he's not grown up enough yet to have his big boy voice.
Oh, G-Boy.
I'm back. I'm here.
Yeah, he's back.
Sorry. But, yeah, I think the easy answer here is Ontario Lady Warriors. But since Hayden went there, and I'll just do a different team. I thought that the Minutemen of Lexington and boys soccer were going to be a little bit farther. I thought they'd knock off Lima Shawnee, but hey, Shawnee's a great team in themselves, and you know, there's no disrespect to Lima Shawnee. I just thought Lexington, you know, they were going to go a little bit farther this year and maybe try to get back to that state semifinal like they had last season. But I don't know if that's really you know, an early exit that I didn't see coming, because you know, Lima Shawnee is also a great team, but from some of the ones you guys have talked about, I think Ontario is head and shoulders, you know, the easiest pick here for you know, postseason blues, because I think a lot of people picked them to beat Lexington.
I was pretty stunned, honestly, to hear that Colonel Crawford knocked off Cary, because they had to go to their house to do it. That adds even a little bit more to it. The Devils' 26-game win streak, so I think all those answers are correct. They're all tied for we're a little surprised.
I think so. So that was like mainly, and I know there are different stages, so some of them not so early exits in terms of soccer and volleyball are already down to state, but nonetheless, some teams that we definitely thought may have chances of getting there this year. And the last portion of my segment, I didn't even create B-roll for it because it's really just quite simple, and it'll really just be kind of yes or no answers from everyone. But on my way up here today, I know we've talked about it before, so I don't want to dwell on it too long, but 2 separate radio stations, Christmas music. I just was a little bit too much for me today. What are we sitting at here? November 7th. Now, I get antsy for Christmas, and I know if Travis was still on, he does too, but just yes or no, is it too early? It's November 7th.
I'm going to have just a slightly longer answer, because when I turned on my car stereo this morning, it was on 107 The Breeze, and they were playing Christmas music, and my boy in the back seat when I was driving him to school asked me to keep it on the Christmas music, but I overrode him, and I said, no, it is too early for Christmas music.
Man.
We're not getting that smoke just yet.
A few more weeks.
Put the stockings back on the boxes or in the shelves. Like, nah. Yeah. Let's give the respect to Thanksgiving.
Storm.
I'd have to say that
Coach
Black Friday would be like the absolute earliest I'd start playing it. Like, I feel like that's an appropriate amount of time. You're stuffed full of turkey. You wake up the next morning. You know, it's a little chilly outside, and then the Christmas music starts playing. So I think it's a lot too early. I mean, personally, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's way too soon for me too, because I'm a big Thanksgiving guy, and I can't be hearing the Christmas jingles before I even get a piece of turkey or ham in me. So yeah, it's way too early for the Christmas jingles. Let's hold off until I at least get that Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, Mariah can keep it bottled up for a couple more weeks. All right, you get a whole month where you can celebrate the Christmas season, and then it even rolls a little bit after that. I feel even into the new year.
Yeah, it does. So I'm glad we all agree on the same page, and that closes the back of the book for my segment today.
I just got one question for you guys.
Sure.
Have any of you ever been bitten by a poisonous spider?
Not to my knowledge.
Sorry.
No? Nope. Gee, you either? Neither have I, but I can tell you this. Right now, the NBA, they're getting chewed up by one. Not sure if you guys have been paying attention, but how about Donovan Mitchell and the Cavaliers? Ooh, baby, they took down Bron and the boys last night on the road. And, this first-year guy in the Cavs uniform, this shooting guard, he's got him on an 8-game win streak. With Darius Garland in the lineup, they look like they can't be beat. The way that they just stroll down the lane, their Euro steps together, it feels like the best 1-2 punch in the league. So my question for you guys is, if he keeps this up, my guy's averaging over 30 points per game. He's leading the team in assists, steals, and minutes. Is he the number one guy in the MVP conversation this season? Storm, you may begin.
If he can keep up this level of production, I'll say he'll finish top 3 in the MVP race. But I don't know. Giannis is just so good. I would say that they'd probably finish 1 and 2, and it would be a toss-up if Donovan Mitchell can keep up this level of production. But, I mean, I'd say, yeah, if he can keep these numbers the way they are and Giannis falls off even just a little bit, I'd say he could win MVP. But they got a big test tonight at 10:30, and I know I'm going to be watching the Cavs-Clippers game because that's going to be a big test for them, for both squads, actually. So I would say yes with an asterisk.
Yes, but he's got to keep up the 31.4 points per game. And the player efficiency rating for me is what's really so stellar about him. 26.5 right now, G-Man. That's one of the best in the league right now. And that's why they've won 8 in a row. Is he an MVP candidate, or is he the MVP candidate?
Right now I think he's up there. I think he's top 3. I would still take Luka and Giannis over him. Luka's averaged about 37 points per game, 9 rebounds and 9 assists. So it's hard to argue with that. But I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's on one of the best teams right now. He's on the hottest team in the NBA. So I mean, I think right now, I think the top 3 has to be Giannis, Luka, and Donovan Mitchell. And I would just take Giannis and Luka just over Donovan Mitchell. But he's having a great season, and so are the young Cavs here so far here early.
I think
we're talking to Pistons and Bulls fans here in the chat, so let's bring in the Cavs fan and get a second opinion here. I think I'd probably have Luka ahead of him in the MVP race, but Donovan, I think, would be number 2 right now in the conversation. Hey,
I don't even want to talk about it because I feel like the Cavs thrive off of not being talked about. It's just how we are, and I don't want to jinx anything. The production's there. It's great. I would love to see him there towards the end of the season. I'm not sure if that'll happen, but all I care about is maybe, just maybe, getting to invest in another one of these. And maybe. Go Cavs.
What about Dean Wade?
They've been looking awesome so far this season. There's no question about that. And like Storm said, those are great. I finally get to watch them tonight, a full game. I'm spacing out my entire calendar until after midnight. I love these West Coast swings because then I'm not busy.
Man, yeah.
I can actually hang out and watch them. So actually, I do love when they make it out to the West Coast. All right, guys, one more thing for you. We're going to play a little playoff football confidence meter, okay? I'm going to take 4 teams. We're going to shake them up, and then you tell me, give me the order. Number 1 being the team that you're the most confident in. Number 2, number 3, and then the number 4 team. Not that you don't believe in them. Okay. You just don't have as much confidence in them as the other 3 teams. So go ahead and bring up the graphic for you.
It's going to be hard.
This is who we're talking about, okay? We've got number 5, Mansfield Senior. They're taking on number 1 Holy Name in the region semis. Number 2 Crestview, still undefeated. They're taking on number 3 Columbia Station. West Holmes also unbeaten. They got to take on a team that won a state chip just 2 years ago in Van Wert. And then Danville, the Blue Devils, the number 3 seed, taking on the Lucas Cubs, who upset everybody on their way. They are a 10 seed, boys. So, G-Man, I'm going to let you have first honors here. Who do you have the most confidence in? And then rate them after that. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Whew. This is a tough question. I think, a lot of them have very intriguing matchups and very tough matchups. I think number 1 right now for me is West Holmes. I think that they've, had a dominant season. They've been even dominant in the postseason as well. And I think it's just hard to go against them. I know they got a very tough matchup in Van Wert, but from the teams we have on here, I think if I had to pick one team, to put the, chips in their favor, I think I would go West Holmes first. I think I would go Crestview second, just because I don't like a matchup with Danville and Lucas. And that's an old rivalry, too. So a lot of bad blood between those two small schools. And Lucas, they're a tough offense to prepare for. So I think 1 West Holmes, 2 Crestview. I think I put Mansfield Senior 3 and Danville 4.
All right, Storm, what do you got for us?
It's not fair. I should have went first. That was my list. I would definitely go with Crestview at number 1. Just because how good they've been playing recently, still, without a loss on the season. And from what we saw last week with them last Friday, they still look as stellar as ever. Excuse me. And then next up, I think, has got to be West Holmes. If not, they are number 1. I would say it's almost like 1A and 1B for Crestview and West Holmes, just because both of those teams have been so solid. See, Garrett. And then third would be Mansfield Senior, of course. The Tigers have been doing it in convincing fashion here. A lot of great defense from them. And I think Danville, but just because Lucas is so good, I think we all kind of expected this from Lucas, that they would go on an upset tear, because Lucas is just one of those is just one of those teams that's never bad. I mean, they're always competing. So that would be my list, the exact same as Garrett's pretty much. And I don't think there's a different right answer. I think that's the right answer.
G-Man, if we give you one more night of eligibility, you can strap on that 7-0 across your chest. Are you going to be a difference maker for the Cougs on Saturday?
Oh, of course. I mean, we've already seen my athletic ability. I never got the chance to be, a skill position player. I think now I'm a little bit smaller than I used to be, so I think, Coach Avondale throws me out at that tight end position. I can make a difference out there. I can block. I can catch. I mean, we've seen that I can catch. I got hands. I went toe-to-toe with Blaine Bowman. That one didn't go well, but if you watch the Evian Gross video, that one did go well. So I think I can hold my own.
Respect. I think he's out of eligibility, though. Yeah. So
unfortunately,
we'll just keep dreaming. All right, Hayden, do either of them have the order in the correct space? Where do you think?
I don't think they're wrong, but just for the sake of spicing it up, I'll say I'm going to keep West Holmes at 1. I just can't go away with that. What Sam Williams-Dixon did last week,
7
can't go against that.
7.
So to change things up a little bit, depending on what Tigers show up, I'll put Mansfield Senior too. Why not? If they can show up and show out and all of them perform how they can, I think they are capable of upsetting on 1 seed. We'll put Crestview at 3. I don't have any doubts in Crestview, but I know that you guys have told me some of their playoff performances have seemed a little bit closer than the score resembles. So who knows? Could be an upset. And like you guys said, by default, I'm kind of putting Danville at 4. Not that I think they're a bad team, but I think that'll be probably one of the closer games out of all these matchups. I know everyone's pretty excited for that, and that should be phenomenal. So yeah, we'll go in that order. And my honorable mention, man, is Colonel Crawford. I'm very confident in them and their abilities if they do move on.
You put them ahead of any of these teams in your confidence meter?
I would put them at number 2.
Oh,
I really like what I've seen out of them. So, not to get off the list, but I like those Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly. All right. I'm taking West Holmes at number 1. I don't think there's any question that they got the best weapons. They got a beast at middle linebacker, and they've got the playoff experience. They was just 14-0 last year, got to the state Final Four. I'm taking them number 1. I'm going with your Crestview Cougars, though, at number 2. You want to know why? The number 1 reason? It's not carry. If they don't have to play carry in the tournament, they're really, really good at football. Kuhn always seems to make the right decisions. And how about making interceptions just about every week now? They're getting it done. Defense elite, too. Cougars have a lot better defense than I thought now that I've read a little bit more into their story. I'm actually going to take Danville, though, third ahead of Mansfield Senior because I feel like the Devils got a little bit of revenge on their brain. These are two programs. They've met quite a few times. Danville had the run and play at first. Matter of fact, they used to beat Lucas down back in the early days. Then the story started changing. Lucas started beating up on them. Max Payne says he has not forgot about the loss against Lucas last year.
Unlimited.
Wait to see how the field against them. And then the Tigers, for me, I just feel like they have the toughest matchup.
Yeah.
Their defense, amazing. They've barely even allowed like 300 yards in the tournament so far. That's two games, folks. 0 points have been put up. Duke Reese, too. He's an evolving quarterback. I really like what we've seen from him. But the Green Wave, man, they beat 5 teams this year that have winning records. They have a really tough schedule. The Tigers are not – I don't want to say there's just going to be another team, but they've already seen teams like the Tigers, so I have the least amount of confidence in them. West Holmes, look for them to ride out for sure. That's going to wrap up my my two little pieces of the pie today, guys. We'll now turn it over to G-Man and see what you have in store for us today, sir.
Well, the dreaded conversation that I guess me and Storm had to have, but yeah, unfortunately, Storm and I, we found a position at a place that we can't pass up. So this will be our last podcast temporarily. I'm sure we'll be back around, here and there. But yeah, I just want to take a trip down memory lane. Storm's got a bunch, so I'm not going to stay on a ton because, me and Storm, we've worked together for 3-4 years now. So, we're pretty much my memories are Storm memories. So, and he's got a ton, but you can just, I just threw together a couple pictures of some of my favorite moments and places and games that I've covered, throughout my tenure here at the OH.Report. I mean, it's been a lot. This was I believe the first time I ever met. I believe it's the first time I ever met Greg Collins and Brian Harder. But that was is that a Lucas basketball game? This is our first wrestling meet we ever did. Jake Furr took this photo of sitting over there, and but yeah, those are the days back when and then there's the shoulder mount. That was the first time we ever got to use that, at least personally, on the sideline. But just some photos, of the memories that we had. It's sad to say, but there's the first state championship that I got to go to, which is a super surreal moment. But yeah, Storm's got plenty more, so we can move on to Storm. But I think that's the last photo in here.
Yeah, Bunchy actually on the state championship photo, he was looking like a little bit more slim and trim back there.
Yeah, I actually just ate 4 taquitos, so I've put on the baby fat once again.
Chicken or beef?
It was beef, but my favorite ones are the chickens.
Oh yeah, elite.
But
for sure, chicken all the way. Taquitos, come on.
So I got speaking of a feast, I got a feast of memories to go through. So we go ahead and roll the first clip. Lexington versus Ontario, the first highlight we ever went on. Me, Garrett, and Brian, we shadowed him, and it was a lot of fun. I remember being so nervous and just excited about what all this meant. It was just pure chance that we got this opportunity to work at the OH.Report, and here we were about to get our first real video gig ever, kind of. At least for me it was. I think it was for Garrett as well.
Yeah.
So I remember
it was a good game, too, man. Negotiated you guys right into the job the day before, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I remember. Go ahead, Storm.
It was an interview that I couldn't make it to, and you had to vouch for me on the interview.
That's a friend right there, man.
Yeah, he made it happen, and I remember this too. Going out there for that game, we did the first ever OH.Report Instagram in front of the student section, I think for Lexington Purple Haze, and I do remember after one of you guys shot it on the phone, and you were just like, man, they really give you guys a lot of love out here, and I was like, hey, this is what it's like being a part of the OH, baby. This is how we do.
And that was it. That was it for the first one. For the second one, it was our first highlight on our own. So that first one we were just shadowing Brian. Then Mansfield Senior versus John Hay was our first ever video we made for Brian by ourselves. And I actually showed up late to this one because I had a different job I was working at the time. And then we went back to Brian's house. And I remember when we used to edit in Brian's basement, we'd be rolling 5 or 6 deep, all of us editing at the same time. And it would be 900 degrees in there. And it would be so hot. And me and Garrett would be too nervous to ask for a fan or something. So we just sat there and sweated it out till 3 in the morning every Friday.
Those were the days, boys. Yeah, no air conditioning in my house. We don't have that central AC unit at the 38 Parkwood, so unfortunately we just had to make it through. And I remember Ramos, part of the crew back then, hanging out with Jory till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. sometimes, putting together those highlights. And I do remember your guys' like your first 3 or 4. Storm actually came up with some really cool and clever editing techniques, and I was trying to just keep it like, hey, that's not how we've done it in the past, and I change it a little bit, and I would always have to come over and peer edit your guys' stuff. And then I think by about week 6 of that season, I was like, you know what, just do your thing, Bunchy, go ahead, go to work, and it ended up being a pretty cool marriage.
Yeah, it was awesome, and here comes my probably next up. The next video is probably my favorite string of games that we ever had, and of course it was the East Knox playoff run. The miracle season they had was so much fun. It unfortunately started first with them beating Crestview at Chet Looney Stadium, but I don't know if I've ever had a team appreciate a coverage as much as the East Knox Bulldogs. And I think up to that point, East Knox had only ever been on like one OH.Report thing. So that was really cool to bond with East Knox and some of those players and coaches and really be a part of their team, for that playoff run.
I got to give you guys all the credit for our relationship with East Knox. Because of this game, we ended up following them all the way to state Final Fours. And now look at us. We're the exclusive video provider for the KMAC, and it all started with this relationship in this game right here. So if that field goal goes through, maybe none of this ever happens. So big shout outs to missing kickers sometimes.
Next,
it's okay. It all worked out for the best.
And then, G-Man, remember when we never knew how to dress warm, so we'd always be freezing at the games?
What's changed?
I was numb. Yeah, actually nothing has changed.
Yeah, that's true. And then next up was my Mansfield Senior State Championship versus Trotwood Madison. That was so much fun to be a part of at the Canton Hall of Fame Stadium. Like Garrett said, it was surreal to be down there on like an actual place where NFL players play, doing video, what I love doing and doing it for, a local team. That was so much fun. I remember I didn't even get to really shoot any video. I got to run the social media, but it was still just so much fun to be a part of. And it was just, this is one of my favorite memories ever at the OH.Report.
I would agree, G-Man, and I bet you'd back it up. That was such a fun atmosphere. Went into overtime. Both sidelines were absolutely electric, but the Mansfield fans, my gosh, dude, they were lit the entire day.
State championships are always fun to cover, too. And the first one, though, like, just walking on the field, I think, was, like, the biggest thing for me. Just kind of, like, looking up. I felt like I was, like, an NFL player. It was a cool moment.
All right, guys, we're, like, halfway through, promise. Next up, my next video is our first ever basketball highlight. East Knox versus Northmore. This, like, me and G-Man were, like, kind of KMAC Trav before KMAC Trav existed, thinking about it. Yeah, the OG right. KMAC Travs. But this one sticks out a lot for me personally because I'm such a big fan of basketball. And this was pre-COVID. The stadium was packed, and it was just a very fun experience to be back on the team. I think we had a little bit of a hiatus between football and this game, so it was just a lot of fun to be back and making basketball highlights for sure.
Yeah, back in the early days, you talked about working out my basement. I mean, we were such a small mom-and-pop operation. It was just me and then you guys during football season, but you just covered one game as a tag team. And then eventually, Jory would come on, I think, during basketball season during this year that we're watching right now, these highlights. So, I mean, it was basically just me and you guys back 3 years ago. So it's definitely come a long way.
For sure. And then we're only 5 of 22. Sorry, everyone. Next up, we have a very special video to me. This is kind of the first time that me and Garrett ever had like our personality jump into the mix. This was the gauntlet when me and G-Man got to run against the eventual state champion Madison Rams, and I just remember being not excited for this at all. For some reason, we ate Burger King about 20 minutes before we went to run this. It was so hot, and Brian didn't have any water, so we had to drink this weird
Go-Go juice.
Go-Go juice, this red potion he made, and it was in his car the whole day, and it was so hot. And I just was like, is this real? Like, are we really doing this?
Man, you guys survived, and I know that Coach Huff and the girls, they've wanted you back ever since, and I don't blame you for not going back. It looked like that was pretty painful. I jumped in for a little bit, but I barely helped out with the cause.
This was back before I even had a beard.
we were young, dude, in this one. All right, next up is
right back to napping. Boom.
Next up is gosh, another one of my favorite videos. This was kind of our very first like eating video, I think, and this was Nugget Mania. This was so much fun to film and shoot. And I think this is the first time we ever met Travis. I think was on this shoot, and G-Man, had the competition. To name a nugget from a place, and he had to do it blindfolded. He went 3 for 3 on nuggets, 3 for 3 on barbecue sauces. He killed the game with this one, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, as I 100% recall this one, it was the first time we were doing news back then. Remember, guys? It was the COVID times, and there was no sports going on, so we were just looking for anything to do. And the video quality was so good. I was like, just go ahead and see what you can come up with for today. And I remember me and Jory watched it together, and we kind of looked at each other, and I was like, I don't know if like the content in terms of like what we're getting out of this is great, but man, the video popping.
All right, then
good stuff.
You got anything to add, Garrett? You got anything to add?
No, I'm good. Move on.
All right, this next one needs audio, but this was me and Garrett's first time ever calling a game together. You have to listen to this. This is absolutely hilarious.
Okay.
Nugget?
Just waiting for the Nuggets to start talking.
How do these guys stay motivated during such a long tournament?
Storm, as the fatigue starts to set in other tournaments, especially with double elimination, it takes a lot, but I know these kids are definitely trained and prepared for this moment.
All right, here we go with the tip-off. And Red comes away with the tip-off as number 4 brings it up the court for the red team. These kids look like they're a little bit ready. We had a little bit of a longer break. Shots off. See that fatigue obviously setting in. A little bit of an air ball right there.
For sure. It looks like it's a little
Number 3 brings it up the court for the gray team. Pump fake driving in number 1 with the soft layup, misses. Rebound to the red team.
Red team.
Number 5 bringing it up the court for the red team. Swings it. Looks like they're trying to run a little pick and roll action. Obviously a very effective play in basketball. Number 6 has it on the wing, posting up with a nice drop step. Swings it to number 4 with a shot, and he makes it.
Number 4, Cam User. He's had a big impact on this tournament so far.
All right.
But that was the Spy Report. It was like a sophomore show out or something like that, and it was just so bizarre because we weren't even supposed to like call the games, but we sounded so bad and we couldn't hear each other. So if you go back and watch the original broadcast, I just talk over Garrett the entire game. I just talk the whole time and he says nothing.
And we haven't been invited back to do another showcase for the Spy Report. What a shocker, right?
Dang.
Yeah, big surprise. So next up was
great.
Our first hype video. This one requires a little bit of sound too. We won't watch all of it, but I remember making this video, and I've never felt as proud about a video as I did for this one because we were doing it for a school we loved, and we really just tried to make this one good. So
it's earned.
Here's this one.
Devotion, tradition, dedication. A town full of 242 blue-collar, hard-working Bulldogs. A small pocket of Knox County whose hearts pump purple and white. Being the underdog isn't easy. However, the Bulldogs wear it like no other. coming off of the best
We don't have to
season
listen to
since
all of it.
2005.
It's still on YouTube and
Football
Facebook.
isn't
but,
just a game.
I put the fake anamorphic black bars and everything over it. But it was just, it's one of my most proud videos. It's a video I definitely worked, one of the videos I worked the hardest on ever in my time here. And it was just a really cool experience.
Yeah, I remember that one too. When you first emailed that over to me and I watched it, I was thoroughly impressed and blown away. I didn't think we were going to be getting anything of that caliber. I didn't even know that was G-Man's dad until like the third video that was doing the voiceovers. Big shout out to him.
All right, and then next up was another funny video, another goofy video. It was our first episode of Recipes for Success with G-Man. It was so much fun to work on this, and these were always my favorite projects when we could be more creative and more zany with our ideas. And I know Garrett didn't have nearly as much fun as I did because he didn't like being on camera as much. But I know on the editing side, the freedom I had was so much fun.
Like the shades.
Oh yeah.
My specs.
I thought you'd have something sentimental to add.
I'm just trying to see it. I'm just looking at how I changed over the years a little bit. The beard is a little bit longer then.
All right, next up was the
on Video Magic right before our very eyes, boys.
Next up was the Madison Lady Rams State Championship. That whole journey, I think me and Garrett covered like a majority of their regular season games, and to watch them beat Granville and to experience someone win a state championship right in front of our very eyes was so much fun. And that leads right into my next video, which was not as fun. One of my least favorite moments in the OH.Report history. I'm saying it right now. If we could play the next one. I think the next one has audio.
Yes!
But I don't want to give them any tips or anything, so we're going to go ahead and save our strategy for the end, but we're going to eat fast.
Ladies, you have them outnumbered 2-1. I imagine that's going to come into play. However, y'all look like you're very hungry. Do you think you're going to devour this pie way faster than them?
Yeah, they're not going to win. Period. End of story.
Point blank. And we do want to give a shout out to Countryside Pizza and Drive-Thru, located on Park Avenue East, for donating all the pizza for today's competition. Teams, are you ready? All right, on the count of 3, we'll get it on. 1, 2, 3. And right away I see 4 slices, of course, 1 in each hand, of the Madison Lady Rams.
So yeah, we had that little competition for them. And I'm not gonna lie, this was one of my least favorite moments working at OH.Report, just because I look so fat eating this.
Dude, I look huge. I look huge, dude. Holy.
But while it simultaneously.
Well, I was gonna say, I think that 2 of the Madison players went outside and puked after this competition.
Me and Garrett had to walk outside. Like, we felt super sick afterwards. It was so greasy and just, I don't know. But while simultaneously being my least favorite, this will always be one of my fondest memories that I'll always look back on, because we took the big W.
Yeah, baby. You still got that trophy, right?
Yes.
It was at the studio, I think. I don't have it.
And for your troubles, because I know that you're probably
We'll put it on display somewhere for you, where everybody can know what transpired that night.
And next up was a different eating contest. The first time I actually ever met, I think it was the first time I ever met Adam, if I'm not being mistaken. So this is his first impression of both me and Garrett, is this next video, which I will never forget this day. I will never forget the 4th of July hot dog eating contest, because I've only eaten, I think, a handful of hot dogs since this day, because after this day, it was just like a rock was sitting in my stomach from all the hot dogs I ate.
Yeah, I've gone on record many times as saying that we expected way more. I mean, the entrances off the charts. You guys definitely crushed this. The swagger, the mentality. We were expecting this to be like, you know, what the Project X Eater versus one of the all-time greats. and what we got after that maybe did not live up to the billing.
Yeah, I felt like there was a lot of hype going into it, and that we were gonna like kill it and destroy these hot dogs in like 5 seconds. We ate for what, probably 35 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long time. I was disappointed in myself. I
think me and Garrett ended up like 25 minutes in, came to a gentleman's agreement that we were gonna end it. We were gonna end the contest. But I mean, just getting to that point was awful.
Yeah, when we saw our viewers dip down, when they were all expecting it was way up here. Oh my God, these guys are going to devour these hot dogs, and then maybe you have a little bit more respect for Joey Chestnut now after you gave it your own try.
Yes, I definitely do, and I know someone who doesn't, who at least probably that day did not have any respect for me. Was Adam, because I really do think it was my first time I ever met him. And it was just like, hey, you're going to direct these 2 guys who are going to try to eat 10 hot dogs. And then it ended up taking 25 minutes, so.
Yeah, here it is right here.
Oh, dude, get this off the screen.
all right. We can move on from this one. This next clip, these next 2 clips, I think live a little bit in infamy, if I'm not mistaken. I know these next 2 require audio. Thank you, Adam. These next 2 clips require audio, but I think that these are some of the most famous OH.Report clips.
Give me 1 second. Gotta put something on for you guys. I'm bringing out the L cap because that's what Western Reserve is gonna be holding versus Crestview. Crestview is on an unbelievable tear. There's no way they lose this one. Evan Hamilton is gonna have the game of his life. There is nobody on earth right now, mark my words, on earth that can beat this Crestview squad. They are red hot, but a couple of keys they're going to need is great shooting from Heath Cash and Evan Gibbs. I've seen most of the time when they lose, they do struggle shooting, and teams can collapse on Evan Hamilton. And he is not unable to trust his guys on the 3-point line, and we saw.
And then I think we all know
postseason.
Where it went from there. What the outcome
has been
of that
shooting the
Crestview
lights
game
out
was.
here recently, and I think
So,
that's what they're going to need.
if we could move on to the next clip.
big play
shut up.
inside rebounding is going to be key for them. They need to get that use
I'm
their
at the
size
Bridget
advantage
Storm.
to their advantage
and
secure some rebounds to really run Western
L
Reserve
cap
home. But
punchy.
like I said, I put on the L cap. I really think Western Reserve is going to be holding that L, and Crestview is going to be moving on. A little something here just for my Western Reserve fans. Give me 1 second.
The Rough Riders
Gotta
end up
put
winning
something
by
on
like
for you
30.
guys. I'm bringing out
The
the
Rough Riders
for you
won by
guys,
like
and,
30.
I got a pretty
here's the
bold
second
prediction
part.
that I think you guys will like.
Okay, so you said hats off to Western Reserve, and you have to take off the L hat, at least for the Rough Riders for this week. But Storm, we'll let you go first, man. Go ahead, blow us away, spit some fire. What do you got?
I know I just took the cap off, but I'm putting it back on. There's no way Western Reserve beats Johnstown. Mark it down right now. There's no way. Don't disrespect me like that. Don't call me out on the broadcast. You're not beating Johnstown. Pack your bags. Go home.
All right. Nobody on earth can beat this team
We
this
were all
week.
so. Congratulations to you guys.
Oh
and,
yeah, that was
I got
the
a
old
pretty
school
bold
tournament
prediction that I
talk
think you guys
basketball
will
show, which was a lot of fun to be on. And going back and forth with Western Reserve was fun. I still get scared at the games that some of the former alum are going to come find me and beat me up or whatever. But it's all in good fun.
Hey, you were spitting facts on the second one. Johnstown did pack them for home and shut down their tournament. And then what did the lady say to you when you were walking out into the parking lot after the yell?
I hope you got what you wanted.
Oh my God! Yeah, I thought we was about to get jumped. I was trying to actually create a little bit of distance, walking a little bit more fast and furious in front of you, but I could not help but hear what that lady said to you. That was priceless.
All right, only 7 more videos to go, guys. We'll wrap this one up. The next one doesn't need any audio, but this was one of my favorite football moments. Just being inside of a trash bag for the entire Cary Blue Devils game. I forget what team it was, the Tigers, but I remember it snowing so hard, that lake effect snow, and you guys just threw me in a trash bag and put me down on the sidelines, and that's where I spent the majority of my night.
We definitely gave you the MVP award for that night on our OH Report side. No question about it. That was an awesome game, though. That was the biggest upset at that point. Carey had kind of been rocking through the tournament, and then they had to take on Bo Brumgard and the Tigers in that game in Springfield.
Yeah.
And thanks to your sideline shots, the Devils got it done. They have you to thank for that, Storm.
For sure. You know, I helped them out as much as I could, to be honest. Next up, we have, of course, all the G-Man Challenge videos, which were so fun to make. G-Man calling all the local athletes out. I only am showing the Mansfield Senior one, but there are a lot of other ones on the channel, and these allowed us to be in our creative bag again, which was a lot of fun to make. You could get really creative with the edits and the shooting and what you did with it. So I know once again G-Man didn't really like these ones because he's the one that's being made a fool, but I liked them because I got to make G-Man look like a fool, and that was what was fun.
Well, hey, Parlett, you kind of made Avion look like a fool with some of these nabs, baby.
That's a good point, man. I mean, these were a lot of fun to go make because it was I know Avion actually wasn't trying, but just kind of like to actually catch a touchdown, I felt like an actual star. But Blaine put me in my spot. That's why I don't think I've ever done another one since, because he embarrassed me. Like, my name is embarrassed.
Yeah, that was a good back and forth event. Avion did, to his credit, lift weights and then go through the practice and then hung around afterwards for you to come out there. But you dogged him a couple times. Got the tutty right there in the moving pictures. That's good stuff.
Things are getting pretty intense now. Wallace drives inside, puts up a layup, puts on the end one. What a shot to give Lucas Cobbs the lead. Big time.
And so these next three are a couple of my favorite calls I've ever had. Of course, they're all basketball because I'm a big basketball guy. But these Willard, I think these are district finals, these district semifinals and finals are my favorite games ever on the OH Report. I loved all these every district final we do at Willard is so much fun. And I know Garrett can attest, when we go down to Willard, it's gonna be a fun night and it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, we always have fun calling these ones, and it's even better though, Storm, because, well, not now, but Linda used to live in Willard, so we could stop and get those tacos, which I think kind of warmed us up. And then, we got our food in the belly, and then we got to call a great game, and it's always, a great one when teams like Lucas, St. Paul, and South Central get together.
For sure, and then we can move on to the next one.
Falls away, gets blocked. Wow! What a defensive stand. Lucas has the foul, but South Central with some terrific defense in the clutch.
So that one was South Central over Lucas. That was like a tournament rivalry at that point because they have played each other so many times in the playoffs. And once again, at Willard, at the Haas. It's just always so much fun. And honorable mention, Margareta, the Mexican pizza, coming back like the Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. I couldn't find the call, but I just remember that one being so much fun. Me, Adam, and G-Man on those games. It was always just something special at the Haas.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite personal district in the area too. All those D4 teams, because they pack that puppy out. I mean, there's 2,000 plus strong, everybody on their feet, all good teams. There are some fun battles there. I'm glad that you guys got to be a part of those for the last couple of seasons.
For sure, and it's been amazing. But next up is my absolute favorite call of all time. This is my favorite play to ever happen. I'm just going to let it play.
I knew this was coming. Yep. I knew it was going to be that.
Puts on the highlight reel.
Side Devon Sack.
Where are you going? Oh my goodness. Wow, Storm. For some right there behind the back.
Oh.
So that's probably my favorite call I've ever made on the OH Report. And that's probably the best play I've ever seen on the OH Report.
We've got to track down that Willard point guard and make sure she has this clip forever.
She's still around.
Has to.
Oh, for sure has to. Because remember, G-Man, the freaking student section saw us going crazy, and then they like looked it up the clip or whatever.
Yeah.
Next up was is a short-lived series, but one that will always be. I know all of these are my favorite, but will always be one of my favorites. The Eye of the Storm, a very short-lived segment on the OH Report, but I really enjoyed making it. I really enjoyed making the intro and coming up with all the funny topics and stuff. I'm not really ever sure what happened to it. It just kind of fizzled out of existence. But it's going to come back in a lot of different aspects. But this was one of my most creative segments I think I've had, and it was a lot of fun to make.
Yeah, how many episodes did we even get out of this? Like maybe 2 or 3, and then it just quit showing up.
I think it was 3, and then it stopped showing up on the schedule. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'm not doing it then. So then I just didn't do it. I think that there was a 4th episode that was unreleased. Like the footage has never been seen. So maybe like for OH Report's like 10th anniversary, we'll get an episode of Unseen Eye of the Storm.
Dang, and we're closing in.
And this is when I was on my Frito Pie thing, when I loved Frito Pie.
I mean, hopefully that hasn't changed. Still delicious.
No, it definitely has not. I love Frito Pie. And then here's the last video, just the more recent stuff I've made, and I kind of put this in here to pay homage to how far I've come as a videographer and an editor, just for the opportunity that. Sorry, just for the opportunity that I've had here. It's been incredible how much I've been able to learn and how much I've been able to hone in my skill from working here, and how creative I've been able to be, and just how incredibly thankful I am for this opportunity. And I know I'll never forget the OH Report, and I'll never forget anyone I've met here. And it's been a wild ride, and I won't lie, some of it sucked really bad, but a lot of it was so much fun, and I know I have a lot of people to thank for making the past 3 or 4 years of my life so special. And I'll never forget any of you guys, and I'll never forget the memories and the friends that I made.
Well, definitely it's touching to hear that from you, and seeing all these pictures and going back through all the videos. It lets you see just how far we have come as a company. Like we were talking about 5 minutes ago, I mean, it really was just me and a camera at very first, and then some guy comes stumbling into the studio one day, says he can make some videos, got a friend maybe that can help him out. I said, hell, if you guys can work tomorrow, come on through, we'll make it happen. And I feel like we've done a lot of cool stuff together, and I have you guys to thank in a lot of ways too. So it's emotional time for me, knowing how much creative juices and collaboration that we've been able to make, along with Adam and Hayden, and even Big League. We'll give him some credit too, and can't leave Jory out of the mix. And you guys truly are a part of the OH Report family. And while I know that you're going on to do some really cool video creative stuff, we hope that you'll maintain your part of this family, and we'll keep you on from time to time on some games and do some future collabs. Definitely don't want to lose you entirely. We'll miss you just too damn much.
Yeah, like I said, just it's been a crazy ride, and I'll never forget any of it. So, Adam, I can't believe you put me up there crying 6 times. But Garrett, I'll let you speak a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not gonna let the tears fly, but yeah, I just gotta reiterate with what Storm said. But I appreciate everybody, all the people I met, through the couple of years, and I don't think this is a relationship that's totally gonna be broken off. So I think we're still gonna be seeing each other. We got the probably the Crestview game this weekend, so you'll still be seeing us around here, just not as much. But we'll pop in time to time if we can. But just want to thank you, Brian. Obviously, you and Jory, especially, for giving me and Storm the opportunity. We had to drop out of college, didn't really really have a lot, but we've came a long way. Want to thank you guys. Hayden, obviously, coming on to, in the past couple seasons and years. Big Mac, Trav, and then, of course, Adam, you guys did so much to help me, further my career as well. So appreciate you guys, but I don't think this will be the last you hear from us.
Which we're all grateful for. It's just such a big, loving family around here, and I think that's why there's a lot of emotion. But the best part is that it's not goodbye. It's just that you guys are going to be doing some other things, and that we'll get to see you from time to time on the side. And I know that it'll even make our relationship that much more fun when we get together, probably even be more creative, more exciting when we do get to work with each other. So I gotta say, I truly appreciate you putting together that compilation, 22 videos worth, and taking a trip down memory lane. When I had texted you and G-Man yesterday and said, think about some of your favorite memories, I wasn't sure how far back into the bag you were gonna go, but hey, we filled up that entire vacuum with a whole bunch of great memories, and I remember each and every one of those, and will continue to remember them. But I think that there's still a lot more to come from this partnership and this collab. So to the dynamic duo, this isn't farewell, it's just goodbye for today until we see you in a few days down the road, right? Hayden, anything you want to throw out to the boys?
Oh boy, I don't know if I can say anything to them live on air, but that's not in a bad way.
He's gonna tell us he hates us.
Yeah, he's been waiting for this moment.
Yeah. I'll just leave it with probably one of my top memories with these guys of the past 2 years was definitely, despite some of the miserable aspects of it, the state championship for girls basketball last year at Dayton. That was an interesting 2 days, but probably some of the best time we spent together, to say the least.
I've heard the stories.
That is all.
And that is all for now. All right, G-Man and Storm. Hey, love you guys. Looking forward to seeing you here down the line, and make sure that you're keeping us up to date with all the cool stuff that you're working on out at your new job, and we'll be seeing you around. I guess bye for now, everybody.
Oh.